Well, my dear. So you've left the convent for good?
Yes, madame.
And how are you adapting to the outside world?
Very well, I think. I'm so excited to have my own bedroom and dressing room.
I've advised her to watch and learn and be quiet except when spoken to. She's very naturally still prone to confusion. Yesterday she was under the impression that my shoemaker had come for dinner.
No, it wasn't that, Mamma. It was when he fell to his knees and caught hold of my foot. It startled me.
Well, no doubt you thought he was attempting to propose marriage.
Well,
Oh, never mind, my dear. You'll soon get used to it. We must see what we can devise for your amusement. Oh. Very well, show him up. Valmont is here.
You receive him, do you?
Yes, so do you.
I thought perhaps that under the circumstances...
Under what circumstances? Oh, I don't believe I have any grounds for self-reproach.
On the contrary, as far as I know, you're virtually unique in that respect.
And of course, if I had, he would no longer be calling on me.
Yes. Monsieur le Vicomte de Valmont, my child, who you very probably don't remember, except that he is conspicuously charming, never opens his mouth without first calculating what damage he can do.
why do you receive him, Mamma?
Everyone receives him. He has a distinguished name, a large fortune, and a very pleasant manner. You'll soon find that society is riddled with such inconsistencies. We're all aware of them, we all deplore them, and in the end we all accommodate to them. Besides which, people are quite rightly afraid to provoke his malice. No one has the slightest respect for him, but everyone is very nice to him.
Madame.
Vicomte.
What a pleasant surprise.
How delightful to see you, Madame.
You remember my daughter, Cecile?
Well, indeed. But who could have foretold she would flower so gracefully? I wanted to call on you before leaving the city.
Oh, I'm not sure we can allow that. Why should you want to leave?
Paris in August, you know. And it's time I paid a visit to my old aunt. I've neglected her disgracefully.
I approve of your aunt. Oh, she takes such an intelligent interest in the young. She's been able to maintain a kind of youthfulness of her own.
Will you please give Madame de Rosemonde our warmest regards? She's been good enough to invite us to stay at the chateau, and I hope perhaps later in the
I shall make a point of it, Madame. Please don't let me interrupt your game.
I think I may have lost enough for this evening.
Your daughter evidently finds our conversation intriguing.
Oh!
So sorry.
I think it's time we took you home.
I'm used to being asleep by 9 at the convent.
So I should hope.
You'll be pleased to hear, my dear, Arnopp is on his feet again and back at work.
Who?
Monsieur Arnopp, you remember, whose family you helped so generously.
Oh, yes, yes.
We've been keeping an eye on things while you've been away. I must say, he never ceases in singing your praises. When my nephew last stayed here, we discovered, by chance, he'd been down to the village.
Are you feeling all right, Madame? I'm sorry to interrupt you, Aunt. It seems to me all of a sudden, Madame de Tourvel doesn't look at all well.
I'm perfectly all right.
Oh, you do look dreadfully pale, my dear.
I'm all right.
Perhaps you need a little air. Do you feel constricted in any way?
No, really.
I feel certain Madame de Volanges is right, as usual. A spell around the grounds, perhaps.
Yes, of course. A little walk in the garden. It's not too cool, I think.
Well, perhaps.
Come along, my dear. We'll all accompany
I'll be
you.
quite happy on my own.
You'll have to excuse me, ladies, but I think you're right to insist on chaperoning Madame.
Fresh air will do you the world of good.
The meal was somewhat heavy, perhaps.
I don't believe that could be the cause. Solange is an excellent cook.
Yes.
Come back for it. I don't want to arouse suspicion, mademoiselle, so I must be brief and I must ask you to pay close attention to what I tell you. Now, as I'm sure you've already guessed, the letter I gave you is from our friend, the Chevalier d'Anceny.
Oh, yes, I thought so, monsieur.
And as I'm sure you're also aware, the handing over of letters is a far from easy matter to accomplish. I can't very well create a diversion every day.
And Mamma has taken away all my paper and pens.
Right, now listen carefully. There are 2 large cupboards in the antechamber next to your bedroom. In the left-hand cupboard, you'll find a supply of paper, pens, and ink.
Oh, thank you, monsieur.
Now, I suggest you return the Chevalier's letters to me once you've read them for safekeeping.
Must I?
It would be wise. Now, this key resembles the key to your bedroom, which I happen to know is kept in your mother's room on the mantelpiece tied with a blue ribbon. Take it, attach the blue ribbon to it, put it in place of your bedroom key, which you will then bring to me. I'll be able to get a copy cut within 2 hours. I'll return you the original and you can put it back in your mother's room, and I can collect your letters and deliver d'Anceny's without any complications. Oh, and on the shelf below the writing paper, you'll find a feather and a small bottle of oil, so you can oil the lock and hinges on your bedroom door.
Sure, monsieur. I'm not sure that would be right.
Well, how else are we going to manage this? Your mother never lets you out of her sight. You really must trust me, my dear.
Well, I know Monsieur d'Anceny has every confidence in you.
Believe me, mademoiselle, if there's one thing I can't abide, it's deceitfulness. It's only my very warm friendship with d'Anceny which would ever make me consider these methods. Now, I suggest you return to your mamma and the others before they send out a search party.
Yes, monsieur. Thank you, monsieur.
My pleasure. Nothing to worry about.
Have you bought a letter?
No. Oh, no.
Then what?
You mustn't do that. What will you say to your mother when she arrives? How will you explain to her the fact that I have your key? If I tell her I'm here at your invitation, I have a feeling she'll believe me.
What do you want?
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
No. No, please, don't do that.
It's all right. I just want you to give me a kiss.
A kiss.
That's all.
And then you'll go.
Then I'll go.
Promise?
Whatever you say.
All right.
Very nice.
No, I mean, will you go now?
Oh, I don't think so.
Will you promised.
No, I promised to go when you gave me a kiss. You didn't give me a kiss, I gave you a kiss. Not the same thing at all.
And if I give you a kiss...
That's what I said.
You really promise?
Let's just, let's make ourselves more comfortable, shall we?
Do you? No. No, please don't do that.
It's all right, I'll take my hand away after the kiss.
Promise?
Yes, yes.
Swear?
I swear. Now put your arms around me. There. See, I told you I'd take my hand away.
Chaque chose sont en chaque chose sont en dans la chaque chose
My dear, I really can't help you unless you tell me what's troubling you.
Can't. I just can't.
I thought we'd agreed not to keep any secrets from one another.
I am so unhappy. Everything has gone wrong since the day Mamma found Donsonny's letters.
Yes, that was very stupid of you. How could you have let that happen?
Someone must have told her. She went straight into my bureau and opened the drawer I was keeping them in.
Whoever could have done such a thing?
Must be my chambermaid.
Or your confessor, perhaps?
Oh, no, surely not.
Oh, you can't always trust those people, my dear.
That's terrible.
But today? What's the matter today?
You will be angry with me.
Are you sure you don't want me to be angry with you? Come along.
I don't know how to speak the words.
Or perhaps I am beginning to get angry.
Last night.
Yes?
So that we could exchange letters to and from Donsonny without arousing suspicion. I gave Monsieur de Valmont the key to my bedroom.
Yes?
And last night, he used it. I thought he had just come to deliver a letter. But he hadn't. And by the time I realised what he had come for, it was... It was too late to stop him.
Do you mean to tell me you're upset because Monsieur de Valmont has taught you something you've undoubtedly been dying to learn?
What?
And am I to understand that what generally brings a girl to her senses has deprived you of yours?
I thought you'd be horrified.
Well, tell me you resisted him, did you?
Well, of course I did. As much as I could.
But he forced you?
Well, no, it wasn't that exactly, but I found it almost impossible to defend myself.
Why was that? Oh, did he tie you up?
No. No. But he has a way of putting things. You just can't think of an answer.
Not even no?
Well, I kept saying no all the time. But somehow that wasn't what I was doing. And in the end,
Yes?
I told him he could come back tonight. I am so ashamed.
Oh, you'll find the shame is like the pain, you only feel it once.
And this morning, it was terrible. As soon as I saw Mamma, I couldn't help it. I burst into tears.
Well, I'm surprised you missed the opportunity to bring the whole thing to a rousing climax by confessing all. You wouldn't be worrying about tonight if you'd done that. You'd be packing your bags for the convent.
What am I going to do?
Do you really want my advice?
Please.
Allow Monsieur de Valmont to continue your instructions, convince your mother you have forgotten Danceny, and raise no objections to the marriage.
With Monsieur de Gercourt?
When it comes to marriage, one man is as good as the next. And even the least accommodating is less trouble than a mother.
But what about Danceny?
Oh, he seems patient enough. Once you're married, you should be able to see him without undue difficulty.
I thought you once told me, I'm sure you did, one evening at the opera, that once I was married, I would have to be faithful to my husband.
Your mind must have been wandering. You must have been listening to the opera.
So are you saying I'm going to have to do that? With 3 different men?
I am saying, you stupid little girl, that provided you take a few elementary precautions, you can do it or not with as many men as you like, as often as you like, in as many different ways as you like. Our sex has few enough advantages. You may as well make the most of those you have. Now, here comes your mamma. Remember what I have said, and above all, no more snivelling.
Yes, madame.
Oh, how are you feeling now, my dear?
Much better. Thank you, Mamma.
You look so tired. I think you should go to bed.
Really, I'm feeling...
Oh, I think you should do as your mother suggests. We can always arrange to have something brought up to your room. I'm sure it would do you good.
Well, perhaps you are right, madame.
I shall come up and see you later.
Much the same as your room, you see, only here you can make as much noise as you like. Oh, and the mattress is a little firmer.
Is that good?
Oh, yes. That's very good.
Well, come on.
The first thing you must learn is there is absolutely no need whatsoever for haste. Now, as with every other science, the first principle is to make sure you call everything by its proper name.
I don't see why we have to talk at all.
Without the correct polite vocabulary, how can you indicate to me what you'd like me to do? Or make me an offer of something that I might find agreeable?
Well, surely you just say...
See, if I do my work adequately, I'd like to think you'll be able to surprise Monsieur de Gercourt on your wedding night.
Would he be pleased?
Well... Of course. He'll merely assume that your mamma has done her duty and fully briefed you.
Mamma couldn't possibly talk about anything of the sort.
I can't imagine why. She was, after all, at one time, one of the most notorious young women in Paris.
Mamma?
Certainly. More noted for her enthusiasm than her ability, if I remember rightly. But nonetheless, renowned. There was a famous occasion... Oh, before you were born, this would have been, when she was invited to stay with the Comtesse de Beaulieu, who had very discreetly given her a room between your father and that of Monsieur de Vressac, who was her acknowledged lover at the time. Yet in spite of these careful arrangements, your mamma contrived to spend the night with a third party.
No. No! I don't believe it. That is just gossip.
No, I assure you it's the truth.
How do you know?
This third party was myself. Well, we'll return to this subject later, during the intervals. Now, you asked me whether Monsieur de Gercourt would be pleased with your abilities, and the answer is, even if he isn't, I don't believe it would be difficult to find others who would. Education is never a waste. Now, I think we might begin with one or two Latin terms.